mentioned in the last stream the introduction for nodes, and it says here that there are different node-based editors in the Blender with different purposes, and this section only explain how to work with nodes in general. The list below shows the different types of nodes and where they're documented. Editor interface for nodes. But for the sake of getting on the same page with terminology and naming convention, it's good to get familiar with these. So what do they have for the editor interface for nodes? The header contains various menus, buttons, and options, partially based on the current node tree type. Also, looking at the header here, they show there's a view, menu changes view of the editor in a node mode or node editor. Select, this menu allows you to select nodes, so there is add, this menu allows you to add nodes. Node, the menu that provides means to do things with selected nodes. Use nodes tells the render engine to use the node tree when computing the material color or rendering the final image or not. If not, the tree is ignored. Pin, when enabled, the editor will retain the material texture even when the user selects a different object. A node tree can be edited independently. Parent node tree leaves the current node group and returns to the parent node group tree. Snapping, changing options for snapping node positions. Overlays, information that is displayed on top of the nodes. Wire colors, color node links based on their connected sockets. Reroute auto labels, label reroute nodes based on the label of connected reroute nodes. Context path, display breadcrumbs in the upper left corner indicating the hierarchy location of the node tree. I think I have a I should have here a good example for, let's say, this thing I tried. Here is an example of nodes. I went through this tutorial from the video, and it really got confusing, and after a bit, well, actually as I got to the middle of the tutorial, but here is the result. Interesting. That guy helped me make this. Can I change this view window? But I think the tutorial, in his case, he used the tutorial video is for version 3.6 and mine is, I was doing 4, and then there was something different. I was getting different results. And for me, the tutorial got really complex. The tree node got very complex for me to follow. Right over here. And I didn't actually learn what am I doing. I didn't understand what am I doing. I just actually just duplicating the given instructions without comprehension. So here we have a segment that I can cut out for Blender. But better maybe at least put this in a closed logical context with this section of the manual. I actually wanted to keep a reference here for to have something to look at on the side. Yeah, that's the thing. While I'm going through the text, so there's a reference on the side here, what it is all about. And so, annotations, back into the manual for node introduction. Is that true? My introduction is the section explaining the editor interface. Toolbar, sidebar, navigating, adding nodes. They're added those ways, so I'll spend some time and again see what would be the pace of progression and how much there is for better time efficiency for the video. Node parts. All nodes in Blender are based on similar construction. This applies to any type of node. These parts include the title, sockets, properties, and more. So, well, no wonder title is title. These are the sockets here on the sides, because nodes get connected with one to each other, outputs and inputs. I cannot remember where was the starting point because this given example here, this is completely created, the graphics here is completely created with nodes. So if I run it again, only I think some properties are keyframed over here on timeline. Can I frame it for more dramatic impact? Node parts, the title shows the name. Previews are an overlay that shows a small image about the node displaying the node result. Not all nodes support previews. They can be disabled. Sockets. Okay, this is important. Sockets are input and output values for the node. They appear as little colored circles on either side of the node. Unused sockets can be hidden with Ctrl-H. Each socket is color-coded depending on what type of data it handles. Geometry, data, built-in data, data blocks, collection object material image, Boolean color float integer string vector, built-in. I guess this is the legend describing the Use case color mapping the data types. Inputs. The inputs are located on the bottom left. So this will be the inputs here for this node, an example on my end here. And this will be probably the output on the right. Outputs are located on the top right side of node and can be connected to the input of nodes further down the node tree. Conversion. Some socket types can be converted to others either implicitly or explicitly. Okay. Properties. Many nodes have settings which can affect the way they interact with inputs and outputs. Node settings are located below the outputs and above any inputs. Well, maybe I could play a little bit with that, because here I know that I have a parts I use to modify this thing. There is a node that is, I think here, noise texture. So for example, I change this value, or maybe even go crazy like this and select more of these and see what random result can I get, because the noise texture actually generates random pseudo terrain looking here geometry. That's what I understood for this given, in this given tutorial. I go low, that's the width, the scale, going low, large, detail. Okay, this is interesting, better than when I've done initially, when I was doing it roughness. Try smooth it out. I don't know what means lacunarity. It appears like it has no effect. The distortion. So this is actually real time, like a procedurally generated with nodes. That's what our nodes about in part. Could I change color here, maybe RGB linear? Okay, the black, I go to RGB, maybe not give it all. Okay, so this node with its color is doing something different actually. The color is here as a input, gives it a elevation. If I click this, the high levels, so it's the elevation and flattening of the terrain depending on as a color controlled by color outputs. So noise texture connected to FAC, whatever that means, and color going here in the map range value from minimum to maximum, from max to min, minimum, maximum. Can I change these? Maybe I undo it. float linear, then it is connected to the factor. What's this? Is this color? Will this do anything also? It has an impact to elevation of the given reduced mesh. Combinations, vector position, geometry. It's a good tutorial. I hope to fully complete it, because I think it creates also, it connects the sound to, the sound is interactive to the generated 3D geometry, because these are geometry nodes. I'm happy to have this project saved, because I can play with it. It's an interactive playground, sandbox. What this color input output do? No, I'm not getting the, can't change the color, the result visual color. So that's what is the part of this section of the manual is about, when we're talking about nodes. The properties, nodes have settings which can affect the way they interact with inputs and outputs. Okay. Selecting all non-invert box select. Okay. Lasso. Linked from. Activate same type. Okay. Arranging nodes. Snapping. Snap node element, snap target, auto offset. When you drop a node with at least one input and one out socket onto an existing connection between two nodes, auto offset will, depending on the direction setting, automatically move the left or right node away to make room for new node. Auto offset is a feature that helps organizing layouts interactively without interrupting the user workflow. So that is auto offset, probably arranging them in this space, because the more complex the node structure gets, it's harder to actually get the overview in the, so I can't see the details. Not much helps me here, but if I properly organize the spacing between them in the workspace, in the editor, node editor, it provides better presentation of the layout. It is, the auto offset is enabled by default. Okay. Transform, you can move the, what is this editing? Transform. You can move the selected node by simply clicking and drag and dropping and any empty part on them. That is transform. The width of a node can be changed, so that's the transform doesn't means transforming of the panel, the node panels themselves. Does it have a scale? Scaling, transforming. I can stretch it. Can I? I can't. There is no resize like resizing it. Up and down, only the width. Okay, like I can change the width. Connecting sockets. Connecting sockets, left mouse button. Click on a socket and drag. While connect to output, we'll see a line coming out of it. This is called a link. Keep dragging and connect the link into an input socket of another node. That might be, can I say, maybe see if I can connect position to vector, but I'll disconnect that because it breaks it. So those would be connections between nodes. So if I disconnect this, now if I want to connect them back, I drag from the socket, which are these dots on the nodes. Keep dragging and connect the link to an, then release left mouse button. Okay, on release it connected. While multiple links can route out of an output socket, typically a single link can be attached to an input socket. Some sockets are multi-socket. Input can be multi-socket. To swap multiple links of a similar type, press and hold Alt while moving a link. For control, repositioning the outgoing links of node rather than adding a new one, hold Control. Nodes that have no connections can be inserted on a link by just move the node over the link. Make links. Select multiple nodes with open sockets. Make links to create links between them. Shift F, make and replace, disconnecting. Mute links, node, menu node, mute links. Shortcut Control Alt, right mouse button. Activate the menu item, hold. When muting links on the output side of reroute node, the links on its output side will be muted too. Cut links, copy paste, duplicate. Duplicate linked, delete, mute, show, hide, toggle node preview, toggle hidden node sockets, read render layers, reads all the current scenes render layers from cache as needed, connect to output.